My Weird School Days, Book Number 4. Coach Hyatt is a Riot. Chapter 7. The Sharks. Luckily, my leg wasn't broken after all. It was just a little sore. We practiced really hard that week until we knew all the plays. Finally, it was time for our first game. We were playing a team called the Sharks. It was a beautiful Saturday. When we came out of the locker room, there was Rufus the Doofus floating over the field. And you'll never believe in 1,100,000 years what was floating in the air right next to Rufus. A blimp. And you know what it said on the side of the blimp? Go Sharks! How come the Sharks got a blimp and we got a lame, inflatable moose? It totally wasn't fair. Andrea and the other cheerleaders were on the sideline with their pom-poms. Football has a kicker. Baseball has a batter. Whatever game we play, the score doesn't matter. Go, Moose! What a lame cheer. The bleachers were filled with parents and their cameras. A few moms were selling cookies. Some of the teachers from our school were there too. Miss Holly, Mr. Mackey, Miss Coco, Miss Hannah, Mr. Lording. I spotted my teacher, Mr. Granite. He comes from another planet called Atinarg. Me and the guys ran over to say hello to him. Do they have football on Atinarg? Asked Michael. Oh no, Mr. Granite said. We play a game called Labtooth. How do you play that? Neil asked. It's very simple, Mr. Granite told us. There are 13 glorps on each darge, and they toss a pinker back and forth to see who can score the most flugs. The winner gets to urgle a flange. That game sounded weird. I wanted to ask Mr. Granite more about Labtooth, but that's when the Sharks came out of their locker room. They had blue uniforms. We all stared as they jogged onto the field. Wow, Ryan said. Those guys are huge. He was right. The Sharks didn't look like they were humans. Their arms were bigger than my legs. Even their muscles had muscles. No way those guys weigh 70 pounds, said Michael. They look like they're in 7th grade, said Neil the Nude Kid. We can't beat them, said Ryan. They're gonna kill us. Can't we just pick up their card and carry it away? I suggested. They came in a bus, dumbhead, said Ryan. They're awfully big, Coach, Michael said. The bigger they come, the harder they fall, Coach Hyatt told us. Yeah, but they're gonna fall on us, I said, and we're gonna die. Wyatt just picked his nose. I'll tell you, that kid must have an unlimited supply of boogers. Andrea and the other cheerleaders made one of their lame cheers. Winning, losing, it depends. Why can't we just all be friends? Go, Moose! When the Sharks came out, their cheerleaders on the other side of the field started doing a cheer of their own. It didn't rhyme or anything, but it sounded a lot better than our cheers. Kill, kill, kill. Crush the moose, stomp them, rip their faces off, remove their internal organs. My life is over, I told the guys. Chapter 8. the first half. It was time for the coin toss to decide which team would kick off. Me and Ryan are captains of the Moose, so we ran out to the middle of the field. So did two of the Sharks. The ref told us to shake hands. One of the Sharks grabbed my hand. He didn't just shake it like a normal person. He started squeezing, so I squeezed back, and he squeezed harder, and it really hurt. I thought I was gonna die, but just before my fingers were crushed, the shark let go. "Grrr," he said, "I eat shrimps like you for breakfast." "So is your face," I replied because I couldn't think of anything else to say. The ref tossed the coin up and I called heads. "Tails," yelled the ref. Bummer in the summer. We had to kick off. Our team got into position. Ryan put the ball on the tee. All the grown-ups in the bleachers started cheering. The ref blew his whistle and Ryan kicked off. It was a pretty good kick, too. We all ran down the field to tackle the shark, who picked up the ball. The only problem was there were giant sharks running all over the place. One of them knocked Michael on his butt. One of them knocked Ryan on his butt. One of them knocked me on my butt. They were knocking all of us on our butts. "Run for your life," Neil shouted. When I looked up from the ground, the sharks were in the end zone dancing and high-fiving each other. Shark 6, Moose 0. "That's all right. That's okay. We're gonna win it anyway. Go, Moose." The Sharks made the extra point and kicked off to us. Michael picked up the ball, but before he could take a step, he was knocked on his butt by some giant shark. Michael fumbled the ball, and the next thing we knew, the Sharks were dancing and high-fiving each other again in the end zone. Sharks 13, Moose 0. "That's all right. That's okay. We're gonna win next Saturday. Go, Moose." You don't need to hear all the gory details of what happened in the first half. But whenever the Sharks had the ball, they ran right over us like we were made out of tissue paper and knocked us on our butts. Whenever we had the ball, they knocked us on our butts and took the ball anyway. It wasn't a pretty sight. It's okay that we're not great. At least we'll participate. Go, Moose. What a lame cheer. Andrea and her friends were no help at all. The cheerleaders weren't looking very cheery. Wyatt was useless. All he ever did was stand around and pick his nose. And having Rufus the Doofus floating over the field wasn't doing us any good either. Finally, the clock ran out. It was half-time. We had played 2 quarters, but it felt like a million. Our team was staggering all over the field. I was still on my hands and knees in the dirt after the last shark touchdown. "Hey, loser," one of the sharks said to me on his way to the locker room. "Where do you get that lame moose?" "Rent a blimp," I told him. The score at half-time: Shark 77, Moose 0.